Hello, everyone, and welcome to the February 13th meeting of the Middlebrook HVAC Committee. We are meeting on Zoom today for a number of reasons, but I want to welcome everybody, and we will jump right into it. We are going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Barbara, would you call the roll, please?
Yes. Kelly,
Yeah.
Allison, Lisa, and Tony and Mike are unavailable.
Thank you very much. I would like to request a motion to approve the minutes of the August 22nd, 2024 meeting, please.
I'll motion to approve the minutes of the August 22nd, 2024 meeting. I'm sorry,
Thank you.
what did you say? August, right?
August 22nd.
22nd. Got it.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Second that.
Thank you, Allison. Is there any discussion about the approval of the minutes from the August 22nd meeting? All right, the next item, so let's vote on that. All three of us in favor. All right, that's 3 in favor and 2 are absent. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the financials. Who would like to speak to the financials on the agenda?
Maria Pyrus, Finance Director.
Thank you, Maria.
I'm not sure if they received the financials. I could share them if you like.
Do you have the ability to share your screen?
I have them on an email. I don't know if everybody else has them.
Yep, I have them in front of me.
Okay.
It's in the PDF with the agenda, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, it was in the same email.
Okay, so is there anybody that wants to walk us through this or look at any particular item on the financials that we should be reviewing more specifically?
Did you share the report?
Barbara sent it to everybody. It was sent out with the agenda.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'll review it. Okay.
Yeah, does somebody need to see it right now on the screen, or does everybody have it in front of them?
I have it in front of us.
Okay, everyone has it in front of them. Maria, if you want to go ahead.
Sure. There are several funding sources. Total funding sources are 4,458,106.31. Total purchase orders and are the same, 4,458,106.31. Payments to date were that doesn't seem right here. 106,470. There are purchase orders open 485,216, and you have available balance of 3,866,420. There are purchase orders. We can go in detail if you like to, but are there any questions?
Anyone have any questions? Any questions? Going twice, going 3 times. Okay, is this a voting item or just an item for information?
Just for information purpose.
Okay, thank you very much.
If you approve those payments, you would need to sign them and send them to finance tomorrow or Monday? Tuesday?
Certainly.
Okay.
Yeah, I am pretty sure that updating and approving we have 2 invoices to approve tonight and vote on, which we will do after the update from Bismarck. So if everybody's okay to move on from financials, we'll move on to the project update, which is an update from Bismarck.
Yeah,
that sounds great.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, excuse me 1 second. Go ahead, Lisa.
Sorry. No, I just wanted to say that on that update, it was really hard to read the charts, like where they are. Because when you try to make it big, it gets blurred. Like,
of course. And so I'll send it.
Yeah.
It's a Microsoft project. and I'll send that
okay.
as a separate PDF so you can see the schedule. And really, that's kind of a preliminary schedule we put out where we see projected in the project before we had all the contracts lined up in the past month. So
Oh,
you'll
so it
see,
isn't like where you are now, because I was looking
no,
for
so
like,
you'll see an update monthly,
got it.
but I'll send it separately instead of in the PDF. I'll send it as a separate file.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No problem. So, I just do this monthly update and it's a couple, almost bullet points of the overall project. For me, on my end, it hits, just the project overview, the project status, completion schedule, our budget status, change orders if there are any that month, which there aren't any this month, project photos, because you guys don't always have the opportunity to see it, and then any issues or anything that may come up. So I'm just going to run through our list here that we've sent over. But so the bid packages, through August into today, it's been a long time. But we had some hiccups along the way, like we found that was asbestos in the school, and we kind of changed the whole ball game of the project, which kind of added more scope and kind of fine tuned where it's more like surgery than construction. One thing, so we did all our bid packages in that time frame. So we did three different bid packages so far that got approved, which were the mechanical, the electrical, general trades, and a demo bid package. And we put the bid date right before the holiday, which was a great thing. I think it's good for the town just because you were able to get out at a competitive time when people aren't looking for work. So you're able to get good values on the project, which we saw come through without our budget. So in that time, we did scope reviews, wrote letters of recommendation for the subcontractors that we felt comfortable with this on this project. And Kevin, do you want to touch base on the CHRO stuff that you had to do in the
Yeah.
past couple weeks?
So the 4 bid packages that did go out, we had a walkthrough. It was pretty extensive. All trades were there for everybody. We described the work. It's very complicated, but Greg, that's why we hired him. Bismarck's going to be able to adjust as we go. All the people there have badges and everything. But anyway, so the bids came out. They came back in. We opened them. We gave them to Greg. They evaluated. Kevin Dion did a little evaluation. We brought in at least half a dozen for scope review over a period of a couple weeks. Asked them if they understood long lead times, all the good questions we asked. Greg and gave his recommendation. I think we picked 2 low and 1 second low. And we sent all the award, execute to award and intent to award to CHRO. They approved them. And then we did a contracts and awards for the town. So everything's zipped up and tight. Just waiting for Kevin to put purchase recs in for a PO for each of those 3 trades. The one trade we didn't have a good price on was abatement and demolition. We put that out this week or
Yeah.
last week. Right?
Yeah, you put it out last week, and
Last week.
bid due is I think on the 20th. You have it.
20th. So we have another bid coming in for abatement, be a rebid, and that'll be the last one we have to tighten up. And from there now it's all the scheduling. They already started ordering all their stuff, mechanicals, the switches. So this is gonna go pretty fast for the June 9th or 10th schedule Greg has.
Yeah.
But we're good on CHRO.
That's great. And just so the next line item here I had was just our kind of an update, and this is just for the project status, I call it. But we have a tentative start date in May, which will not be disruptive to the students. This is stuff that'll be happening with back of house stuff in the boiler room or on the exterior of the building. I did reach out to both principals already just to follow up and see what their schedules are coming up this summer in summer school in regards to that. Kevin touched base. We did do some scope reviews. We did select low bidders on 2 of them. One of them we picked the second bidder, but this is after we scoped both and realized the low bidder would have been learning on our dime a little bit, which would have been detrimental to the project because it's such a tight schedule. He did adjust his numbers after and came pretty darn close to the second bidder. So that was something that we proceeded on. What else do I have here? Sorry, just reading my notes. Oh, and then so if you scroll down, if you do have the document in front of you, This is just the bid scopes of the values that came in for each project. And so then I put a completion schedule. This is just showing, us starting in May and aiming for that August date. A lot of things play into those dates are delivery items like the big DOAS systems, curbs, the switchgear. One good thing is, and I have to give Kevin credit, is pushing these projects out for contracts because it allowed us to get submittal process already on the switchgear, which is a 24 to 30-week lead item, and they feel like it'll be right in line in our dates that we need. There are no change orders this month, and I don't have any photos yet, but hopefully next month I'll have a little bit more details for you as the submittals and all the approvals come through.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Greg? Okay. I presume that the abatement you were referring to is the asbestos abatement, correct?
Yeah, so on this specific project, the sheetrock or the plaster behind the sheetrock has asbestos in it, and so when you put any puncture into it, it has to do. The way this project is, we're gonna have the abatement contractor do. They call them glove bags, and this is kind of getting in the weeds, but they are drilling the holes for us so we can fasten and hang all the fan coil units.
Okay. And so I guess I didn't look at the financials closely enough to see if it's affected the budget or affected anything.
It has not, and
Okay.
the reason we went out for rebid, we had one number that was a little higher for the abatement number, and two of the other abatement contractors just misunderstood and didn't send the bid with the bond to the town. Instead, they sent it directly to me. So and those numbers were below our budget, so I was happy to see that. So I followed up with them as Kevin's put this out for rebid, and they will be delivering on the 20th.
Okay. Do we anticipate any issues with supply chain? Anything coming from other countries that we need to be concerned about, costs increasing or anything like that?
The switchgear was the big one, the electrical switchgear, and that was my first submittal I think I had on Monday. So we've already submitted that. Silver Petrocelli's reviewing it. That's the big 24-week one, which puts us right into the summertime, 20-week.
Okay.
So we feel comfortable at this time.
Okay, great. Any other questions for Greg? All right, thank you, Greg.
I'm sorry, it took me a second to get my mic
Yes.
on. So my question is just, when you send us like the next schedule or whatever,
Yeah,
you think you could put like a line of like where we are in the schedule?
of course.
Thank you.
Easy. So they call that a critical line, and I'll put that in.
Thank you. Lisa, anything else? All right. The next item on the agenda is the two new business items, which are discussion and approval of two different invoices, one for $5,904.25 and one for $10,801.50. Does anybody want to speak to these invoices specifically so that we can discuss them, or does anyone have any questions?
Don't we make a motion first and then discuss? Do you want me to make the motion?
Sure. Yeah, that would be great. Let's make a motion and then we can have discussion.
So I motion to accept the Bismarck invoice number 1 that was in the agenda.
Okay, thank you. Allison, can you second that? Thank you.
Sorry, it's so annoying on my phone. I second that.
Thank you very much. Okay, so now we can have some discussion about the first of the two invoices. Is there anybody here who can speak to some more of the complexity of the first invoice so that we have some context? Number one is it looks like I'm terrible at reading these. Okay.
Are you on the 6,215?
Yeah, the 6,000, is it 6,215?
Yep,
Yeah, and so this says it's for staffing and supervision.
yeah. So that's
Basically paying for Greg, paying for project management, project engineer, project estimator.
absolutely.
Anybody have any questions about that? No? Allison, you're good? All right, then I will ask if everyone's in favor of approving the first invoice. All in favor?
Aye.
Allison, you're good? Okay, so that one's approved. Now we can move on to the second one. Sorry, takes me a while to open these. The second invoice is see, 11,370, and this is once again, this is dating back to August. Hours for project management, engineer, basically same thing. Yeah.
I'll make the same motion.
Thank
I
you.
motion to accept the financials and the invoice from Bismarck from August that was included with this agenda packet.
Thank you. Allison, can you second that?
Second that.
Okay.
Can I ask a
Questions?
question? These amounts are not matching what's on the agenda. 5,904.25 and 10,801.50.
Oh,
Yep, so if you go to, I think
That's
it's
because there's a 5% retainage.
correct.
If you
When
take
you-
the 6125 and that's 5% off of that, it's the 5904. And if you take the 11,000 and 95% of that is the 10,801.50.
Correct.
okay.
So,
Go ahead, Cindy.
so are the motions correct then? And I just feel like the agenda should match.
Do we need to read the motions with the dollar amounts, or can we just refer to the invoice number 1 and invoice number 2? What do you say, Jim?
I mean, usually identifying the invoice number is sufficient for the record purposes. As long as everybody is on the same page about the dollar amount.
Okay, do we feel comfortable with that? Maria, you feel comfortable with that? Greg, you feel comfortable with that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the dollar amounts are correct because, to the agenda, because the front page is the AIA contract, which correlates with my contract. Below is the invoice showing the backup for the value. So the invoiced value is correct to the agenda.
Okay.
That sounds
Cindy, you good?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we are voting to approve the second of the 2 invoices. All in favor of approving that second invoice? Aye, okay, that's great. It passes. Sorry, let me go back to the agenda. So next on the agenda, after the approvals of the invoices, is old business. Does anybody have any old business they want to bring to the floor?
Kelly, I just have one suggestion. When you ask for a vote, especially on the Zoom, when you ask who in favor, then also ask if there's any opposed, just so it's
Oh,
clear from the record that there's
thank
nobody.
you.
Yeah, you can't always tell with the Zoom.
Yeah, thank you. So Barbara, for the purposes of the meeting minutes, there was no opposition to either of those.
Okay,
Is it easier to do by voice vote, or that it's just the 3 of us, right? So you
Yeah.
good?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Is there any old business? Any old business? Okay, so it sounds like we are in a position now to talk about when we should be meeting again. Because I presume we don't want this much time to go by from August until now. Kevin, do we have a sense, or Greg, do we have a sense of when it would be necessary for us to meet again?
I think Greg has to we're gonna have some scheduling meetings next week, but
Yep. So I have a kickoff meeting with the with the contractors, just to review schedule, procedures with us, safety, all those kind of things, those items, badging, who's going to be on the project specifically. I really if you guys are comfortable with that, I really would love to have you guys touch base once a month going forward. And it's more just to keep you guys up to date. It's on the book. Say we have to cancel, that's fine. We are going to be, full steam come probably May. So it's beneficial here to definitely get April, but I don't think it's going to hurt to touch base in March.
Okay. Now, given that a couple of our members are Board of Education members and a couple of us are town council reps, Mondays and Tuesdays are typically not good for us, correct?
Okay.
Wednesdays, or that really leaves Wednesdays and Thursdays, right? Does anybody have any strong feelings about one versus the other? And would we be looking at
I would-
something?
If we did a Wednesday or Thursday, I would have a preference to do 7 or 7:30.
That's so totally fair. That I think we just had other conflicts with other meetings that clerks need to be at. So I would be looking at Thursday, March 13th.
Sounds great.
Is that good for everybody? Thursday, March 13th at 7 p.m. Lisa, you're good with that?
I'm
Oh,
gonna just
okay.
check the town calendar,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
No, not at all, because we've got building
Okay
committee.
with it.
You're good. So Lisa's good, Allison's good,
Should be good.
Cindy good.
That
Okay.
that is a Board of Finance meeting, but if Maria needs to go to that, then maybe Lisa can come.
Yeah, we'll be splitting ourselves up between the committees.
Perfect.
Okay. And then Barbara, do you look for a venue for the meeting? Do you figure
Right.
out which
I'll
room is
talk with-
available?
I'll talk with Alicia.
Okay.
and fix the spot.
Okay, so location TBD, but it will be March 3rd. As of right now, it will be March 13th at 7. And then if it's easier for everybody to manage their schedules to do that on the same, the same day of the week, the same time of the month. The only problem is April 17th is spring break. So I would imagine we want to stay away from that and maybe go the month after. So we'll set if it's okay with everybody, we'll set the meeting and maybe make it standing going forward after the March meeting. Is that acceptable to everyone?
Yep.
Okay. Is there anything else anybody needs to talk about while we're all gathered here together? All right, let me make sure there's nothing else on the agenda. Go ahead.
One thing, if that's all right. Greg, are you at liberty to mention the subcontractors yet, or do you have to wait until you're?
I would miss.
No, we could talk about them. I provided it in our update. So the award for the HVAC and the mechanical was Action Air. The electrical is Power Network Solutions, and the general trades was THP.
Thomas and Halsey Patterson. Otherwise as,
RFJ Associates.
yeah.
Great, thank you. And I guess, Greg, we can talk after you've had your, sub schedules and all that, so we can kind of maybe, get everybody settled in, and then we'll have maybe a commissioning kickoff.
That sounds great.
Just to kind of go over what we do, what we expect of them and all that good stuff. But I know we're a little bit away from that, but I just wanted to put it on the radar.
That sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Anything else?
Barbara, I have a question for Barbara. Will you be getting Kelly to sign off on the original invoices?
Yes.
You have the original.
Well, I don't have the originals, no.
Are they somewhere in town hall?
Where are the original? Do you know? Kevin?
I got what you sent me. I don't have the original. Greg, you didn't send in your stuff to anybody, did you?
I could bring down the originals.
All right. Cause I don't
Okay,
think
Kelly-
Kevin Dion did.
I
Kelly
can
has
just-
to-
I will pop in, just let me know when, and I can pop into town hall and sign them, or pop in anywhere.
Okay.
Who
Okay,
will,
we'll get back
who will
to you.
reach out to me and tell me when that's gonna happen?
Yeah. We pay
Um,
bills on Thursday, that's why.
I could tell you, Kelly, when Greg brings them to me or brings them.
okay, so you'll send me an email?
Yep.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay. What else? Anything else? No? All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
Allison, you want to second that?
Second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Bye.
We are all in favor and there is no opposition. There is no opposition to adjourning this meeting. Thank you everyone for being here. And I hope everybody has a wonderful President's Day weekend.